Hey everyone, Coach Investor back to another video for today. So this is a follow-up on the video I made about Meta, basically why I bought more shares of Meta after the company reported earnings. Stock was down a lot. If you want to watch that video, that will be in the top right corner. But in this video, I want to focus on 3 things smart investors probably should know about Meta platform and why I'm still bullish on the company. Of course, since that video was released, we had some good news. Well, good news for investors, bad news for employees. So before we go over all of that, if you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not. And if you want to support me and this channel, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. So of course, the good news for investors, but bad news for employees was the fact that, well, the company has decided to reduce the size of their team by about 13% and let more than 11,000 employees go. Now, the big issue with Meta was that, well, costs were just out of control. By reducing their basically employee base by 13%, you will be saving a lot of money over time. They're also taking a number of additional steps to become a leaner and more efficient company by cutting discretionary spending and extending their hiring freeze through Q1. And it's important to note that they're making this reduction in every organization across both family of apps and reality labs. Some teams will be affected more than others. And to be honest, if you have been following the company pretty closely and the statements that were made from Mark, you knew that this was coming. He already said a couple of months ago that they do intend to do more with less. In other words, they were going to fire some people. Of course, they could have said that maybe a bit before the earnings report, or maybe just something that took time and, well, it was released later. But overall, well, the stock reacted positively. It just sucks for the employees that now have to look out for a new job. But that aside, let's focus on the other positive points with regards to the company. Obviously, this is already a huge positive. 2023, well, the stock should perform much better if they're putting costs under control. Now, there's another aspect of the business that is, well, not talked about a lot from investor point of view and obviously from the company's point of view, but you will hear more and more about that probably in the coming quarters, and that's WhatsApp. So we've had a couple of announcements from Will Cathart, which is basically the leading guy, let's say, when it comes to WhatsApp. So he says here that people in Bengaluru, that's in India, can now buy their metro tickets directly on WhatsApp. Obviously, WhatsApp in Europe, in India, in Latin America, in the United States have different capabilities. In those markets, probably the app is way more developed. The same thing here, he says, about Argentina. So everyone in Argentina can now access government services from medical appointments to public transport information right from a WhatsApp chat. Again, something that maybe in the future they'll develop in Europe remains to be seen. Hopefully they do, because the monetization of WhatsApp is still missing. Yes, we have WhatsApp Business, but you can monetize it much better. I mean, the moment you can send money through WhatsApp, which is already available in a couple of countries around the world, not that many, more likely, again, India and Latin America. The moment it gets enabled in Europe, let's say, apps, P2P payment apps like, I just throw one out there, like Revolut, just become irrelevant anymore. Of course, there's still this investing type of thing, but purely P2P, I mean, WhatsApp will dominate just like that. And last thing with regards to WhatsApp, they also announced communities on WhatsApp. With communities, admins can connect related groups for their organizations, neighborhoods, and workplaces, basically a bit like groups and communities on the Facebook app. You're not just bringing that with WhatsApp. Again, the possibilities here are probably endless. Selling stuff, maybe in the future, even advertising stuff through communities on WhatsApp, and then make the payments through that app as well. Again, the possibilities with WhatsApp are endless, and I'm very excited to see what they do with that. But on the other hand, it's obviously something that I would love to hear more about. Maybe a bit less now about reality labs and the metaverse, more about monetization with regards to WhatsApp. Then going over to the next point I want to make, and that's the fact that Meta as a company, I know that in the United States, everybody thinks that the world, well, works around what the United States does, which in some aspects, yes, that's true. But if you look at, let's say, Facebook's daily active users, you can clearly see that the US and Canada are the smallest part of the business here, of the 1.98 billion daily active users. Rest of the world, huge. Asia Pacific, even bigger. And then you have Europe. Of course, we've talked about the monetization part, and that's of course the highest in US and Canada. Then in Europe, Asia Pacific, rest of the world. But to say that, well, it might be trending on Twitter or, funny enough, on Facebook, that Facebook is dying or something like that. Again, US, small compared to the rest of the world, all included, Asia Pacific, Europe, and the segment rest of the world. Something to keep in mind. And then obviously there is the aspect of, well, TikTok. Is it going to get banned or not? And recently there has been some momentum towards the fact that yes, TikTok will be banned in the United States. It's just a matter of when, not if. And to many out there, the question is probably, why wasn't TikTok banned already? Because if you look at all the reports, if you look at all the, well, research, the interviews surrounding TikTok, it makes zero sense for it to be allowed to function in the United States or even in Europe. Because why would the West allow TikTok to be working in the West? Which, again, TikTok in the West is not the same TikTok as in China. In the West, it's more a brainwashing, making kids dumber. In China, it's teaching them interesting things. But in China, apps like Instagram are banned. So why is it that TikTok is not banned in the West, but Instagram is banned in China? It just doesn't make any sense. So again, it's just a matter of when, not if TikTok will be banned. And when it will be banned, this is a huge, huge tailwind for the likes of Instagram, of YouTube, of Twitter, and Snapchat as well. Apparently in Europe, more specifically in the Netherlands, there is already the ChristenUnie that wants to ban TikTok. It's their job to protect the citizens. TikTok in its form has to be removed from the market. They say here, it's our job to protect the privacy of citizens. It is undesirable that a Chinese company, which cannot be seen separately from the Chinese government, receives and sends such a large bulk of data to young people. Again, I agree completely. So, you have a possible TikTok ban, which will probably be the best pull forward of adoption of Reels. Then monetization of WhatsApp, focus on controlling costs. And then as an extra, you have to understand that Facebook Meta as a business is huge outside of the United States. So if you're in the echo chamber of US haters of Meta, maybe you go out and you see what happens in the rest of the world. WhatsApp dominates everywhere, but in the United States, that's where obviously the iPhone is extremely popular, of course. And then lastly, obviously advertising. Now we're in the darn market. We've seen that across the board, not just Meta, advertising, the segment is hurting. Once that recovers, obviously the core Meta business is extremely, extremely strong, which means once we're out of, let's say, high inflation, difficult macroeconomic environment, that should become much better. But of course, there are always risks attached to investing in Meta, just like with every other business out there. Regulations, antitrust issues, etc. So keep that in mind. So that's about it for this video. Obviously, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, maybe hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.